Wednesday, May 29th, not only is it a baseball travel day, it's like that's the only thing we have on today. But guess what? I'm still going to cook up a few winners for you guys. So let's see what we can do here. This is the free three. What's up, guys? It's your boy Noble Living back with another DYF Bets video where I'm breaking down my favorite picks and plays of the day as we're just trying to get to the bag together and make some money. Yesterday, a break-even day here on the channel. We've been hot all week long. So you know what? We could have had a break-even day as long as it wasn't a losing day. That's all I needed. 2-2 on the day yesterday. We cashed in on the Wolves money line at plus 100 value. I told you that the Wolves were going to win that game. They were able to get it done. Shout out to Karl Anthony Towns for being able to step up in a big game, which is one of the big reasons why Naz Reid did not score as many points yesterday and play as many minutes. Just wasn't really as aggressive. So we did lose on the Naz Reid points. So we split the NBA plays, and then we also split the baseball plays. We did lose on the Nerfy on the Twins and Royals. Twins scored 2 runs in the bottom of the first. But the Cubs and Brewers under, no sweat bet there in the first 5 innings. And that actually might be one of my picks today as well. And today's show is going to be like kind of what it's going to be like all summer here on the channel in a way, because once the NBA finals ends, well, we got nothing but baseball on. So I didn't want to start this early in the year in terms of just giving out straight baseball plays, but this is what's going to be on the horizon around here on the channel. So make sure you guys are sticking with us for this entire journey this summer as we break down baseball winners. And I actually might have a little WNBA action for you guys as well. I'm going to try to dive more into that sport for the first time ever. I mean, I've bet it in the past, but not really like game to game, day to day. So I think that's going to be a really fun experience that we'll be able to have together here on the show. So join us on that journey by smashing that subscribe button, so this way you can be a part of the action. Now let's dive into the best bets for today. So the first best bet of the day, I already kind of gave you guys a little sneak peek at it, and I told you we're going to run it back. Let's go with the Brewers and the Cubs here, and we're going to go with the first 5 under. We're not getting as good of a value as we did yesterday on the 4.5 runs or on the 4 runs. Both of those would have cashed. We're just going to take the 4 today at minus 110 odds. Now, if you want to get the plus money value at the 3.5, you can do that as well. I'm not opposed to it, but I really like the first 5 under in this matchup because that's just really been the general consensus between these two teams in this series. Now, it is a Wednesday. It is a travel day. Typically, the bats tend to wake up on Wednesdays, but for me, I like the pitching matchup that we have here as we've got the Japanese sensation, Mr. Imanaga, on the mound for the Cubs, and then we've also got Bryce Wilson on the mound for the Brewers. Now, Imanaga, does he need any introduction at this point? I mean, the guy's been stellar this year, 5-0 on the year, 0.84 ERA, 58 strikeouts. I mean, the stats are undeniable, but I also like the fact that the Cubs actually rested him in his last scheduled start time, really giving him time to recover. So it's been a few days since he's pitched. That might be a factor in this game, but I don't think it's actually going to work out more in his favor because it kind of gives him a break, gives him a rest, because obviously he's coming from that Japanese schedule, which is just not as many games, as much volume. So you really just want to make sure you don't tire him out. And I like the fact that the Cubs are doing that. Meanwhile, Bryce Wilson on the mound for the Brewers has been strong as he's been kind of been converting from a relieving pitcher to more of a starting pitcher. He has a 2.86 ERA, and in 3 straight starts, he hasn't given up more than 2 runs, and he's gone more than 4 innings in those matchups. And we've actually seen him go 6 innings against Kansas City back earlier in the month of May, and he went 6 innings with 1 hit of no-run ball. That's what's possible for him, and I think that's what we're going to get from this Cubs offense. Both of these offenses have been slumping as of late. We've seen a lot of the scoring in this series come late in the innings. I mean, if you had the under yesterday, oh my goodness, this game ended, right? It was 1-0 the entire game. The Brewers tied it up in the bottom of the 9th inning to make it 1-1. Top of the 10th, the Cubs scored like 5 runs. And then bottom of the 10th, the Brewers scored 2 runs. So if you had the under 7.5, you thought that was cash money and you would have lost. That's really tough, but that's really been the story between the two teams in this series. Neither team has scored any runs in the first 5 innings. Now, do I think that trend holds today? Maybe not, but also at the same time, it's something to keep in mind. And even the Brewers offense, which is the offense that I'm more concerned about, they score more, they hit right-handed pitching well. Their offense has just been struggling in the first 5, even dating back to last series against the Red Sox. 2-1 that final score was in that last game of the series, 6-3 in game 2 of that series. They scored 5 runs in the 3rd innings, which is really what they've been doing with their offense, scoring in chunks. So for me, I think that the under is going to be the play here between 2 starting pitchers. That should be able to get it done. Slumping offenses right now that are getting it turned on a little bit later on the game and with more of the bullpen. So for me, let's go with the starting pitcher. Let's run it back here between the Cubs and the Brewers. First 5 under as our first first best bet of the day. For our second best bet of the day, let's stay on the baseball diamond here, and we're going to go with a run line. And I actually really like this one today, as the numbers give this one a 70% hit rate so far on the season. And that is the Yankees here on the run line, minus 105 odds. So we're getting really good value, not laying a whole lot of juice. And I mentioned that 70% hit rate. Well, that is what the Yankees run line cover rate is against the spread. When Luis Gil, or Heel, I don't know how you say it, when he's on the mound, that is what he's been able to do this season. I mean, dude's actually been stellar. He's right there in the AL Cy Young award-winning conversation right now, 6-1 on the year, 2.11 ERA to go with 70 strikeouts out of top 20 numbers in the majors right now. And like I mentioned, he's hit the run line in his 5 last starts, in 7 of his last 10, and actually in 7 of the 8 games where the Yankees won outright. So if you want to take just the Yankees on the money line here and parlay with like the Rays on the money line, I do like that. I was actually going to give that, I was like, as an official bet. I might do that in the Discord group. Or you can go Yankees money line, Cubs first 5 money line because of Imanaga. Like, however you want to play around with it, right? I do like some of those teams today, but the Yankees on the run line to me, I think, is a really good look here just because of the form that he's been in. The Angels are a team that I just really have a hard time backing. I mean, they've been decent this year, winning, I think, more games than I thought they were going to win, but there's still 12 games under 500 this year, 7-19 at home. It's not like they're that impressive, and they're sending Tyler Anderson to the mound. This is a guy right now whose numbers are a little bit deceptive for me. He's 5-4 on the year, so there's the win-loss record, with a 2.52 ERA, but only 44 strikeouts. What does that tell me? That he is right now getting out of a lot of tough jams. Right now, he's getting into a position where he's been able to keep his ERA low, but when you look at his strikeout numbers, his contact numbers, there actually should be a little bit more of a regression there, and I'm going to expect that to come in his game. And the Yankees lineup are one of the best lineups in the major leagues, and I think they can get it out of him. Yankees are top 10 in OPS and isolated power against left-handed pitching over the past 30 days. And even though Tyler Anderson, we've seen him like he did in his last start against the Astros, he went 8 innings, 6 hits, 1 earned run. That's not an Astros lineup that's hitting left-handed pitching that well. This is a Yankees lineup that is. And we've seen him go starts against like the Phillies, where he gave up 3 runs over 6 innings, against the Pirates, where he gave up 4 runs over 6 innings, right? We've seen this before. That sharp contact that he's giving up, I expect some regression there, and I think the Yankees just have the much better pitcher on the mound, the much better offense, the much better team. And give me Luis Gil, give me the Yankees on the run line here, minus 1.5. All the numbers say to take it. It's been cashing at a great rate. 5 straight winners on this one. Hopefully we can make it 6 today. For my third and final best bet of the day, we're actually going to go to the WNBA. We might as well get wet with it a little bit today. I've taken a few plays in the Discord group in the WNBA. If you're not part of that group, click the link in the description, join the free group there. But, I think this is one that we should be able to start exploiting as long as we're still getting good numbers. And we've been able to hit pretty well inside of the Discord group on some of these WNBA plays. Shout out to LK, one of my friends who calls out plays in the group, and she actually kills it calling out WNBA. And one of the picks that I really like today is a player prop, and we're going to go with the queen herself, Mr. Asia Wilson, over 10.5 rebounds, minus 120 odds. Now, if you haven't been keeping up with the WNBA, or maybe you have, then you understand that this is the first game in the regular season for the Aces where they're going to be on the road. But they are not taking on any slouch of a team on this road journey. They are taking on the Minnesota Lynx, which is truthfully the best other team in the WNBA, in all honesty, that I think should give them the biggest run for the money, which is the Aces at a title run. You obviously have the Liberty there in New York with Sabrina and Brianna, but for me, I really think that this is one of those games for the Aces where they're getting value, but they actually upset, in all honesty. The Aces right now are road favorites at minus 4.5, but I do think the Lynx can actually win this game outright. The Lynx are 4-1 on the year. Meanwhile, the Aces are 3-1 on the year. Meanwhile, the Lynx are 4-1 on the year. If you look at the 4 wins that the Lynx have been able to get thus far in the season, they've been pretty impressive. They beat the Seattle Storm twice. I mean, the Seattle Storm not that good this year, but they picked up a big win against the Liberty where they won that game by 17 at home. They beat the Atlanta Dream handily by 13. Their only loss was to the Connecticut Sun on the road by 1. And the Sun right now, the only undefeated team in the WNBA. Meanwhile, the Aces, like I said, 3-1 on the year. They've handled business, and Asia Wilson is a main reason why they've been able to do that. She's averaging over 12 rebounds per game, which is number 1 in the WNBA. And then when you also look at it, both of these teams are top 5 in WNBA in rebounding. So because I think there's just going to be a lot at stake here between two of the league's top teams. It should be a little bit more of a defensive-minded battle. I think these teams are going to go at it. A'ja Wilson is going to be the star here. She's going to be able to show up. She's going to be the person who's depended upon to be able to grab the rebounds. A'ja Wilson, like I said, is averaging over 12 rebounds per game. The next nearest person on the Aces is one of their guards who's averaging 5.5 rebounds per game. So it's just like a huge disparity there. It's not like she has anybody on the boards that's going to be going at it with her. And the Lynx have a big girl in themselves in Nafisa Collier, and she's averaging over 10 rebounds per game as well. So that means that's just somebody who's going to be able to bang with A'ja Wilson, try to keep her off the boards, who has the ability to kind of go at it. So I like all those angles today. Big game here that's going to be on late night in the WNBA. A few other good matchups that are on today, so maybe you guys should check those out. And as we continue to start diving into WNBA a little bit, but I do like A'ja Wilson today. Let's go over 10.5 rebounds, -120 odds. Well, that's it for me today, my friends. 3 best bets, 3 winners that are coming your way on this Wednesday card. Give me the Cubs and the Brewers on the first 5 under there. Give me the Yankees on the run line to get it done against the Angels. And then A'ja Wilson to tuck us in late night on the boards to be able to go for maybe a clean sweep, because I could use one. I don't want to get greedy, but I've got about 1 or 2 days left in the month of May, and I think we can get a little bit of momentum here. And then NBA action will be back on tomorrow, so we'll dive into that Game 5 during the Western Conference Finals. So as always, I appreciate all love and support. Let's get to that money. Drop your pick below so this way I can tell you. And let's make some money today, my friends. And let's get to that bag. I'll see y'all in tomorrow's video. Later, gang.